Hello, YouTube. This is Mr. Bakari, and today we are going to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. Okay, when do you want to use the quadratic formula? If you've got a quadratic that will not factor, chances are you've got irrational or imaginary solutions. So that's where this comes in handy, okay? You can use the quadratic formula to solve any quadratic equation, but I would always suggest factoring if possible. Now, when you use the quadratic formula here, you've got to establish your quadratic equation in standard form, okay? And so down below at the bottom here, we are looking at the standard form of a quadratic. It's ax squared plus bx plus c equals y, okay? They're in descending order of exponent, okay? So you want to put it in standard form, make sure your equation is set equal to 0, and then you are ready to go, okay? So let's look at some examples. All right, so I've got it written up in the top right-hand corner for you, the quadratic formula. You read that as negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, okay? So remember, your a's, your b's, and your c's, they come from the standard form. So you need to know that first. I'll go ahead and write that right under it. Standard form. All right. So let's put this in standard form. So I'm going to move the 8 over, and that'll give me x squared plus 4x plus 11 equals 0. Make sure that my terms are in descending order by exponent. Looks good. So now I'm looking at A equals 1, B equals 4, and C equals 11. A is my square coefficient, B is my x coefficient, and C is my constant. All right. So now I'm ready to substitute into the formula up here. So if you don't have it memorized, you can look at it up here as I substitute in. So I'm going to put negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a, which is just 1. Okay? So there's the substitution step. Now I need to start simplifying this. So we always start with the discriminant. That is what's under the radical, this number here, okay? And you have to be careful. You have to multiply before you combine. So 11 times 1 is 11, times 4, negative 4 is negative 44, and 16 minus 44 is negative 28. All right. And 2 times 1 is 2. Okay? So next thing you need to do is if you can simplify that radical, go ahead and do so. So this is 2i square root of 7 plus or minus 4 negative and 2. So now I've simplified that and I'm ready for the next step. Okay. Now if you need practice simplifying radicals or simplifying negative square roots. I will link those videos down below. You'll want to watch that first and then come back and do these examples with us. Okay, now that I've simplified the radical here, the next thing I want to do is I want to look at all the terms, each term in the numerator and denominator, and see if I can factor something out. Okay, and I can pull it out of 2. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that's going to give me negative 2 plus or minus I root 7, and those are my solutions. Okay, so these are complex solutions. They've got a real counterpart and an imaginary. Okay, so this definitely would not factor. All right, let's look at another one. This one is in standard form already, so we're good to go. So A is 1, B is negative 2, and C is -5. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and substitute in. So negative b, well, b is already negative, so that's going to be a positive, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Again, a is just 1. Okay, so step 1, just like last time, we are going to simplify the discriminant. -5 and 1 is -5. -5 and -4 is +20. Plus 4 is square root of 24. And 2 times 1 is 2. Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify the radical. So that simplifies to 2 root 6. Okay. And then the last step, again, if you can pull out a factor out of each of the terms in the top and the bottom, go ahead and do so. Well, they're all twos, so I'm just going to pull out 2 out of all of them, which leaves me with 1 plus or minus root 6. And there's my solutions. These are irrational solutions. Okay, let's look at another one. This one, we got to do a little bit of work to get it into standard form. So what I'm going to do is distribute the 2 and add 8. So I'm going to get 2x squared plus 4x plus 2 plus 8 equals 0. Combine terms, 2x squared plus 4x plus 10 equals 0. All right, this time a is 2, b is 4, and c is 10. Now we will substitute into our formula. All right, so negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All right, next step, simplify the discriminant. 10 and 2 is 20. 20 times -4 is -80. 16 minus 80 is -64. And a is 2. A is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. All right. Next thing we need to do is we need to simplify that radical. So I'm going to pull out an I, and that's a perfect square, so that's just 8i. All right, and lastly, I'm going to factor out a 4 out of all the terms here. So that's going to give me x equals 1 plus or minus 2i. And that is my solution set. All right. All right, let's look at one more example here. All right, to put this in standard form, I'm going to go ahead and move the 16 over. All right, this time A is 1, B is -4, and C is -16. All right, so negative B is going to be a +4 plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Okay. All right, let's simplify. -16 and 1 is -16. -16 and -4 is 64. 64 and 16 is 80. And 2 times 1 is 2. All right. Simplify the square root of 80. I can pull out, let's see, that breaks down to 16 and 5. So my perfect square is 16. I'm going to pull that out 4. root 5. All right. And looking at each term, I can pull out a 2. Go ahead and do that, and that gives me 2 plus or minus 2 root 5. Another set of irrational solutions. And that's all there is to it. Okay? So I hope that helps you with the quadratic using the quadratic formula, and I will see you in the next video.